I would like to thank MovieTickets.com once again for choosing me to be the winner of their Twitter contest and providing me with 2 free 3D tickets to Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Enjoy the review. Thanks, guys. What is going on, people? Let's go about Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice review. There's so much good things about this movie, but here's the but. There was some bad. There definitely was some bad with this movie, and I think that this is gonna even Batman v Superman as it is controversial. But now, after people and critics and everybody is like gonna see this, it's gonna be even more controversial from what happened. So, spoiler alert! There's gonna be major spoilers throughout this whole video because we're going to talk about the good and the bad and what I think about it. So right away, this movie has it has such a big fan base. Now we went to an early showing, so that's why there wasn't a lot of people. Because when we got out of the movie, they did like a back-to-back showing, so that when we got out of the movie, there was like a huge line of people waiting. And this guy even asked me ahead of time. He wanted a spoiler. He was like, "Okay, who wins?" And I was like, I went over to him and I was like, basically Batman. Like basically because. You're probably like, wait, but Batman didn't win. Well, he basically won because if it was not for Lois coming in and being like, Martha's his mom, then Batman would have killed Superman. Because here's the deal, guys. Batman is a killer. Yes, he kills in this universe. He is a full-blown killer, and here's why I do not like that. Now, you're probably going to be like, oh, you don't like Batman killing. That's not the problem. The problem with Batman killing is that when we get to those solo Batman films, you know they're coming. When we get to those solo Batman films, there's not going to be a code, right? In every animated Batman movie, or every animated thing you've seen Batman in, he says, we don't kill. Like, that's his code. Oh, there's my cat. That's his code, that he does not kill. Well, if that code's gone, then what do you have to offer us for a moral of the story? Because if they did Red Hood, which I don't think they're going to do anymore, if they did Red Hood, and it's like, Jason, no, you become this monster who kills, you're a killer! Where is their difference? Where is the line? I guess you could say, I killed for justice, but it's like, no, that's not what happens. They're dealing with that on Daredevil right now. You can't do that. So it's like, that's why I'm not liking it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying the reason why I don't necessarily like it is because that when we get to the solo Batman films, what's going to be the moral code that he has? What's going to fill in for that part of the story? So that's why I didn't think it was the best thing that they did for Batman, because they changed him a lot. Now, here's one thing. I had some trouble hearing in the first part because his dad died. We saw the 2 caskets, right? But it sounded like he said dad in the beginning, where the guy was falling off of the building in Man of Steel, where that guy was in the building in Wayne Industries, or the Wayne Industries building for Metropolis, and he fell off, right? I thought he was saying dad. Correct me if I'm wrong, I thought either he said Jack, Caden, my friend who saw it with me, you guys can check out the vlog where he's in, he thought he said Chad, I thought he said Jack, but then I also thought he said dad, so I didn't know whether or not, like, that it was dad, Jack, or Chad? I don't know. I couldn't understand it. But if you guys know, comment down below. But that was just something that I noticed that if you guys knew it, I would like to hear what you guys thought of it. But anyway, yeah, it was really nice to see also all of the cameos. We're going to talk about that. Before I talk about anything else in terms of Batman and everything, we're going to talk about the actors and characters and do my general, true opinion, true critique opinions. And then we're going to get into the highlights and cameos and all that stuff and talk about the awesome DC stuff. So let's talk about it. So, in terms of acting, Ben Affleck stole the show. But did he have enough screen time, really, to showcase his Bruce Wayne and Alfred? Because the trailers make it seem it's a Batman film with Superman and some cameos. This is a Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor crazy political mix-up with cameos and Doomsday with comic books. I think the first half of the movie is definitely realistic, and it's definitely like the political side of it, and then I think the back half was basically comic book, right? So I think that doing that, did he have enough screen time? Maybe not, because it was about this political thing that was happening in the world of DC. And did the chemistry between Alfred and Bruce fly off the walls? No, it did not fly off the walls, because that's why. I think it's just so much of a big turn of events in this movie that it didn't have enough traction to carry that Bruce Wayne, to carry the Alfred, to carry all that. Now, there was a lot of it, but the trailers make it seem like it's going to be this Batman story of why Batman and Superman are fighting. Another thing that I did not like necessarily, I liked it because I understood it, but I think that moviegoers will not understand it. And that's Lex Luthor's hatred for Superman, right? I mean, you have this character that his legs were, I guess, crushed basically in the accident of Man of Steel. I mean, you see this, you see his hatred, but Lex is kind of mixed up in the middle of this, and he's basically like, I hate this god, this false god. And so then, I think that not a lot of people who are moviegoers who have not realized comic book movies and don't know much about comic books are going to be like, well, why does he hate this guy so much? Like, I'm kind of having a hard time of understanding it, and I'm just like sitting here like, I understand everything. I understand why this is happening, but people, moviegoers and critics that have not really had experience with comics like we do, won't. Because right now, I've heard on Rotten Tomatoes that Batman v Superman actually has either a 36 or 39%. I can't remember what it has. I think it had even a 41. I'm not really sure. But it's lower than Man of Steel. And Man of Steel is low, people. So that's bad. That is actually super bad for DC right now. In terms of audience, 79%. And I think that comes purely from comic book fans who know why Lex is like that. I think that they know why Wonder Woman. They know all this stuff. They know. So I think that's why the audience score is 79. And the critics who might not know too much about the comics like we do are like 41-ish, 30-ish. Around in there. So that's why I think that's there. Henry Cavill, he's pretty much set in Man of Steel, so you just go watch that movie and you'll see his acting experience. He was really good in this one. Lois Lane, played by Amy Adams, good as the Man of Steel. Gal Gadot, or Gal Gadot, or however you want to say it, Gal Gadot, I don't even know how to pronounce her name, so I'm just going to say Gal Gadot. She is fantastic. She is amazing. Like, she did not get a lot of screen time, let's be honest. But she definitely sold the warrior of Wonder Woman. She sold that. Like, she was just like, yeah! Like, her scream was awesome. Her acting was great. Her accent is awesome because we get to see, like, an accent side of Wonder Woman. And she kind of felt like a Catwoman to Batman. And I really like that because it's a different... when you watch Justice League, the animated series, or you watch something with Wonder Woman, she's more like this political figure who's just this, like, really... kind of like this lady that's not like she was. Like, she stole from this guy. She was kind of like a sinister, kind of like deceiving kind of person, but not too much. She just did it for her. She did it because there was a photo, and it's an Easter egg, a photo of her with Chris Pine as Steve Trevor back in 1918, if that was the year written on the photo. Oh my gosh, that's why she wanted it. That's why she had this mission in Gotham and Metropolis to do that. Or I guess it was just purely Metropolis. But still, it was awesome to see that. Now, let's talk about Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg. Like I said, not a lot of average moviegoers will understand why he hates Superman so much. I do. You guys probably do. But not a lot of average people do. So, it was really funny. I thought, and Caden told me this too, while we were seeing the movie, kind of whispered back and forth to each other. I thought he would have made a fantastic Joker. Like, he was just like... Superman's eyes were glowing. He was like, where is she? And he's like, I don't know. They wouldn't let me tell you. Like, they wouldn't tell me. So I thought that was awesome. Like, could he be Joker? Could Jared Leto step out for a second? Although I think Jared Leto's going to do a fantastic job. But could he be Joker? Let's be real here. Jason Momoa is Aquaman in this movie for 2 seconds. They were like, Aquaman's going to be in this movie. He's going to cameo, like, big time. And it's like he's in there for, like, maybe a minute. A minute. As Wonder Woman is viewing these files with Easter eggs galore. He's kind of like, he actually stabbed the camera with his Triton. Now, that kind of gives you a feel of what Atlantis is going to be like. I don't know necessarily if it's going to always be, like, him swimming. I hope not, because that means, like, most of the portion of the film is going to be underwater, right, for Aquaman. So hopefully they have this thing where they can go through it and just walk in the Kingdom of Atlantis and not always have to swim. But it was nice to see him a little bit. We also saw the Flash big time. The Flash actually had the biggest cameo of all time throughout this movie. So first we see the nightmare sequence. We're going to talk about that first. So the nightmare sequence was amazing. It was just beautiful. How they tricked Batman into thinking there was kryptonite there. How the Darkseid Easter eggs with parademons and a Darkseid symbol. And if you guys are wondering, no, they did not Easter egg Darkseid. Barely. All they did was the Omega symbol and the parademons. No more Darkseid Easter egg. No more Darkseid mentioning. So Darkseid has taken over, in this nightmare sequence, as you can tell, but he's not, like, anywhere to be Easter egg. He's not, like, anywhere to be, like, mentioned or anything like that. Superman kills in the nightmare. He kills people. And then Flash comes in for some odd reason. Now, I think that what this means is that Flash triggered this nightmare, right? Or triggered this thing. Because he's like, Lois Lane is the answer. Superman, feared, need to be feared, fear this man, or whatever he said. And like, I couldn't really remember it because it was so loud and crazy. But he's like, Superman, blah, blah, blah. And he's in, like, this futuristic, weird-looking nightmare, like, suit, like, kind of matches the nightmare scene. That's not his official suit, as we know. I mean, obviously, they're not going to make him look like that. But it's like, whoa, this must be true power of the Flash to be able to do this if he's actually, like, because that's, like, next level stuff. That's basically the biggest Justice League, the biggest multiverse, or biggest Darkseid Easter egg telling there is. Because if he's coming back in time, or whatever, or coming in a different reality to say that to Bruce, something's going on, and we're going to see what it is, maybe possibly, in Justice League. We also see him cameoed in the videotape where he actually saves a guy so fast, you can barely even see him move. Then we also see Cyborg being cameoed. He's like up to here. Like Cyborg's body, here's Cyborg's body, here's his head, here's his arm. Everything else is disconnected. So what I think that box was, is that I think it's a mother box, or something that's alien. I don't know. There's alien tech involved, and it's Star Labs. There's an Easter egg where it says Star Labs. There's Silas Stone, his father, Victory Stone's father, Victor Stone. And so they have this like mother box or something like that that could belong to a bigger plot. That they help create Cyborg. He's like, in the end, on the board in Star Labs. So, yeah, there's a little bit of Cyborg, a little bit of Mother Box, or possible universe theories at play here. So we got that, and then I think I got the cameos down, right? That was all the cameos. Then we got, of course, Wonder Woman, we already knew about her photo. So yeah, there was some stuff where Lex Luthor had dirty files on all these metahuman people. I don't know how he got them, but it was pretty cool. And then we saw Aquaman. I forgot to mention this. Aquaman like speeds off. It was like there was like this big water explosion or something that happened. It was pretty cool. So I think I've talked about all of that. Let's talk about the political side of this. This movie is so political in the beginning, and it kind of jumps back and forth. Like it's like here's Bruce Wayne in Gotham. Here's Metropolis. Here's Lex Luthor. Here's Wonder Woman, and it jumps back and forth a lot because they have so much to fit in that first half of the movie. So to me, I feel like they were kind of like writing it's kind of like New Year's Eve. Have you ever seen that movie, New Year's Eve, where there's all these storylines going at once, but they chain them together? That's kind of like how it reminded me, except a little bit more choppier. Like it was like, oh, chop here, chop, 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 and then like boom, put them together like a big old sandwich. Like that was kind of how it felt to me in the first part of it, but I still thought it was great. I still thought it was cool. And like the big explosion in the courthouse, what happened to the senator, oh, that was amazing. And what happened with the false god statue, like the Superman statue where he spray painted false god. We got a little bit of Perry White in there with the Daily Planet, with Lois Lane, and the framing of Superman that he killed those people, but he really didn't, was fantastic. So it was really nice to see the political side of them fearing this godlike hero, or worshiping this godlike hero, as we saw a little bit as well. So that's that side. Now let's talk about the fight. Batman won, and the sun's going down like crazy. But Batman won. Yeah, he won. I knew it would happen. I knew it would go down. He has so much kryptonite in this movie. It's not even real. Like, let's be real here. He has so much kryptonite. He takes down Superman, practically almost kills him. If Lois Lane hadn't walked in, I mentioned that in the beginning. But yeah, that's the lowdown on the fight. Now let's talk about Doomsday. Doomsday was in this movie too. Let's be real here. Ninja Turtle Doomsday, although he's not really that much of a Ninja Turtle throughout the movie, because they did the thing where if he dies, he comes back and spikes go out and he becomes stronger than ever. And they even say he's unkillable until they take him up to Superman takes him up to space, nuke comes, blows up, Superman turns into Bizarro, like he looks like a Bizarro. The sun makes him better, he goes back down, the fight is on, and the CG is incredible. Like, it looks so cool. Like, the storm of Gotham behind them, and Wonder Woman, trenching through the rocks to get Doomsday and throwing her sword out. Like, it's awesome, right? Wonder Woman by far had the best fight scenes. I thought that her, fight with Doomsday was, it was so cool. But that was there, and then they had, a whole bunch of stuff with Doomsday with the staff of Kryptonite and driving it through. Doomsday did eventually die, because, of course, Zod's body is Doomsday, so he could die from kryptonite. That happened, and then Superman, here it is, guys. Superman died, he's dead. Oh my gosh. Yep, he's dead. And they did their own version, basically, of Doomsday killing Superman, except it was kind of like him sacrificing himself, but it was kind of still their own same version. So that happened, and then Superman was basically up a creek. He was dead. The ring arrived for, Lois, the wedding ring, or I guess the engagement ring. The engagement ring arrived. It was so sad to see the funeral of Clark Kent. Both Clark and Superman had their own funerals because, people still didn't know about his identity. So yeah, it was crazy. It was pretty cool to see Superman's death. Of course, you saw at the end with his coffin, the dirt rising, so that means that obviously he is alive. He's coming back. Henry Cavill would not just leave. Superman would not. They wouldn't not include Superman in Justice League. They're not going to do that. Don't freak out because Superman's dead. My brother, Lane, my little brother, who loves Superman, by the way, he says, I love Marvel now, I hate DC, because they killed Superman. I'm like, no, he's not dead. They're going to bring him back. Because you saw the dirt rise, it's going to happen. That's just kind of like a tease of what could happen, possibly. Superman's going to sit out for a while. We got Suicide Squad, and then we got Wonder Woman, right? And then we got Justice League, so he's going to sit out a while till he comes back, but he's not dead. And then, of course, there was some talk about the metahumans, how they're going to have to fight. Bruce Wayne was like, yeah, they're going to have to fight. Wonder Woman's like, I don't think they want to be found, but it's going to happen. So that's just a tease of the Flash and Cyborg and Aquaman and possibly Green Lantern whenever they decide to tease him a little bit. So yeah, overall, it was a setup to Justice League. This is definitely a prequel to what's to come. Especially with the Superman death, they're going to set it up all the way. They're going to be like, okay, we're going to push it. Like, this is like just the beginning block. And they have to build the rest of the tower from there. So that's what it is. If you guys wanted to know, my general review is about either a 7.5 or an 8.5, just because of how the writing went. And the music was all over the place. I mean, the music was everywhere, from violins to all this craziness. And then, like, they do the Spy Kids theme song when Wonder Woman comes in. She's like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, you ain't Alexa Vega. Quit acting like Spy Kids, Carmen Cortez. So they kind of did their own version of the Spy Kids theme song. The music was all over the place, but yeah, and again, if you guys didn't see at the beginning of this video, I thanked movietickets.com for providing me a chance to go see it for free in 3D. So thank you guys again for that. But other than that, comment down below, what did you guys think of all the Easter eggs? I'm going to be doing a separate Easter eggs video because I know I probably missed a bunch. So separate Easter eggs video on the way, but links in there to my other, or I guess links in there to my Twitter, Instagram, Vine, vlog channel, and Sim channel. Links up there to my Twitter, links up there to my other movie reviews and some other videos that you guys can find up there. Other than that, like and favorite this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Who knows what's going to happen next in the DC Extended Universe. Bye, guys.
The bat is dead. Don't believe everything you hear, son.
The night is here.
Experience it in